Coming up on this week's show, Gugu blasts into the new year with the Mercedes-AMG SL63.
The agility and nimbleness in this just makes your mind go poof.
The evergreen Volvo XC60 receives a midlife makeover.
I still love it. I don't think it needs to change.
And we go on a road trip to Mpumalanga in the new Volkswagen Transporter. Mpumalanga has to be one of the most beautiful places in South Africa. Perfect for a travel destination, and obviously perfect for a car like this. Hello and thank you for tuning into Ignition GT. It's our very first all-new show of 2026, and we've got something very special lined up to kick off the new year. But before we get into that though, let's find out what our guests have been getting up to. Gentlemen, tell me, let's start with you, Alan.
Yeah.
What have you been getting up to? What are you driving?
Well, I've actually, not that I'm driving right now, but I've just been to China with bike.
Yes.
And, you know, there's nothing nicer than experiencing something that's going to be coming to South Africa soon.
Ooh.
So, firstly, they showed off a concept off-roader, the ELMT, Element,
Yeah.
as they called it, which was interesting. I mean, I'd love to have actually got to drive that.
Yeah.
And we got to drive very short drives, the T1, which I would call a crossover SUV,
Yeah.
full electric.
Yeah.
It's exciting to have experienced something.
True.
And especially where the T1, the Oxfox, they said he's definitely coming here soon.
Yeah.
Obviously, pricing is going to be the
Of
big
course.
discussion point.
Yeah.
That segment of the market, they'll stir things up a bit.
Yeah. Well, let's see what they've got lined up for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Shane?
Well,
Let's
I've
cut
just
it to you.
hopped out of one EV and straight into another. So I just recently had the MG Cyberstar on test, and now
Ooh.
I'm in the Volvo EX90. Two different animals. However, it's interesting because the MG Cyberstar is, of course, I classified it as a very cool electric vehicle. It's not your mid-engine sports car that everyone thinks it is, but it's a very cool EV, and it's a lot of value for 1.4 million rand. Then the EX90, on the other hand, it's a lot of car. Value is another question because that price point is,
So I've got 2.8 million rand.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You
Hefty.
get two of those.
Well, we stay with roadsters now, but one with a much more conventional, if no less exciting drivetrain.
Look, whenever I'm asked to review a product with a V8 engine in it, the answer is always yes. And when I learned that I would be reviewing this product over here, the Mercedes-AMG SL63, I knew it would be a good day. I just didn't realize how good it would be. In my personal experience, this is probably Mercedes-Benz's finest work yet, and I'll tell you why in a bit. Now, one of the things that the SL has always been known for is having a big and long bonnet, and that clearly has not changed here. That's how you know it's an SL. The one thing I love about this is that it still does get the power bulges on the bonnet, 2 power bulges, to let you know that it's a performance model. And what they've done here is rather interesting. So when you look at this car from the front, it looks very, very wide and muscular. And that is because they've flared out the arches in this thing and it just looks glorious. So up front, we do have that vertical slat grille. It still exists. It's very Mercedes-Benz. And what Mercedes has done here is they've sharpened up the nose of this car, slimmed down the headlights, which look like they're squinting, and you are getting yourself a set of 21-inch wheels, which are optional. Standard, you do get yourself a set of 20s. Now, this car has been spec'd quite to the hilt. This has the aerodynamics package, which essentially means you get these big scoops around the radiators in the front and a whole lot of stuff in the back. That package will set you back 57,000 Rand. So the one thing I absolutely love about the car is the profile. This thing is low to the ground, very low slung, and you get a wheel on each corner of the car. So these 21s really look nice. The mirror caps have been blacked out because of that night package. And you may notice that the door handles aren't there. These are retractable door handles. It's part of Mercedes-Benz's new thing, and they look absolutely plush here. The roof is down because it is an SL. I mean, you want to drive an SL63 with the roof down. Not in this weather, but we'll talk about that in a second. The rear end of the car kind of slopes downward and it looks very, very clean and smooth. There is a spoiler here that is deployable when you really want this thing to look like an apex predator. And because we've got that aerodynamics package, this does have a rear diffuser, as well as these quad exhaust pipes that are AMG essentially. These are blacked out because it is part of that night package. Alright, so the interior of this car doesn't actually feel that sporty. It feels very premium, it looks very premium, and obviously optionally Mercedes-Benz has given this space a copper sort of tan-like leather treatment. You can see it in the seats, you can see it all over the front of the car. The car does come with these slimline AMG sporty seats, and they don't look very sporty, but I promise you, when you start driving this car the way that it's meant to be driven, these things will hug you in all the right places. So I love the fact that you get these turbine-like air vents in here, which is something Mercedes-Benz has been doing for a while, and I think it just fits this car. You are getting this big infotainment screen like you get in most modern Mercedes-Benz cars. The only difference between this and other Mercs is that this screen is adjustable. So if I want to adjust it and tilt it this way because of glare and the sun, obviously because it is a convertible, I can. Or if I want to push it back, I can. And I think that's a genius thing that Mercedes-Benz has done in this car. Now let's talk about the steering wheel, right? This to you may look like the average steering wheel in any car. The difference is you do get two dials here, two rotary dials. I'm going to turn this on just so we can see what's going on. The dial on the right-hand side basically allows you to go through all the different driving modes. You can go from comfort to Sports Plus, or to race like this. On the right-hand side, it's like a multi-function dial, which essentially allows you to set up things like the exhaust. If you want to open the exhaust up to hear that V8 sound, you can raise the spoiler in the back. You can raise the car itself if you have to go through speed bumps or driveways, as people do in South Africa. And you can just do so much through this one dial on the left. Now, it has been a while since we've seen rear seats in an SL. The previous generation SL did not have rear seats simply because it had a hard top roof, that Volvo roof, which I think looked magnificent in the car. Mercedes-Benz has shifted to a soft top roof and you get more space now, which is why they've included these seats over here. And you can't really fit anyone in these seats. Maybe Oscar Pistorius, I don't know. I want to show you something quickly. Now, before we get into the parts that you've all been waiting for, I must make mention of the fact that this engine, much like all other AMG engines, was handcrafted by a guy named Eugene Richter in Germany. Let's see if Eugene did a good job. So this car will do the 0 to 100 in 3.6 seconds. That is quick. This thing weighs 2.3 tons. However, you cannot feel that. It's got 430 kilowatts and 800 Newton meters of torque, which basically eliminates all of that weight, making this thing super, super rapid. The level of rapidness here is just endless. It gives and keeps on giving, and obviously it's thanks to that 4MATIC system. It's an all-wheel drive system, so the car can just keep pulling and pulling and pulling, and it really depends on how brave you are, because the top speed here is 315 kilometers an hour. I know the speedometer says 360, but on paper it's actually 315, which in my opinion is just excessive. Now, I know in the beginning of this I said that this car is probably Mercedes-Benz's best work yet. What I meant by that is, you look at the SL63 and it looks like a GT car. It looks like a cruiser, the kind of car you put on the open road and you just enjoy the V8 rumbling in comfort and nothing else. Well, it's not that. This is probably the most engaging performance car I've driven this year. It is agile, it is quick, and it is so planted. It gives you an unfiltered driving experience in every way you can imagine. The agility and nimbleness in this just makes your mind go poof. for such a big and heavy car. Interestingly, the boffins in Germany have managed to engineer this thing that there is literally no scuttle shake here. Nothing, no creaks, no rattles, nothing, and it's a soft top convertible car. Now you may be thinking to yourself, it's a 4MATIC system, right? Why would you want to own a V8 performance vehicle with an all-wheel drive system? Well, I'm here to tell you that yes, it is 4MATIC in a straight line and in the corners to keep you alive. However, should you wish to go sideways, the traction control is actually a two-stage traction control system. Right now, it's an off, which is an ESP Sport. Essentially, that will still save you if you do make a mistake sideways or trying to go sideways. If you really want it off and want to be on your own, you can turn it off. Wouldn't advise you do that though, because you are literally on your own. And with 800 newtons beneath the bonnet, it's a whole different story. This belongs on the racetrack. Now, when Mercedes-Benz first introduced this version of the SL, it was only available in a 43 variant, and that was a 2-litre 4-cylinder car. That has fallen away, and we only have this. I'm glad they've corrected that.
Stay tuned, because after the break, Alan and Shane give us their impressions of the SL63.
This is everything that AMG stands for historically, and it's easily the most soulful AMG that there is today.
And Volvo's top-selling XC60 receives a midlife nip and tuck.
One of the things I've always asked being in this industry, one of my favorite cars, if I could buy any car, what would it be? And it's always the Volvo XC60.
Welcome back to Ignition GT. When the current generation Mercedes-Benz SL was launched back in 2023, it featured a Formula One derived powertrain. The 2-litre engine boasted the world's first electric exhaust gas turbocharger, but purists felt it was missing 4 cylinders. Enter the SL63, powered by a roaring V8, which some would argue that the engine should have had that from the start. Yes, do you agree, first of all?
Yes.
You both got the chance to drive the cars, and we'll start with you, Shane. I mean, this is a legend in its own right. What were your impressions of the SL just when you just got behind the wheel as well?
What's interesting, obviously, from a dynamism point of view, it ticks all the right boxes, but from a purist point of view and what 63 stands for, because as we all know, when the W206 generation C63 arrived on the scene, it made a lot of people unhappy.
Yes.
A lot of people went to go and say that it was an engineering marvel and it's ahead of its time. Most probably right.
Yeah.
But it just missed that one character that we all loved, and that was theatre. It had none of it. This is everything that AMG stands for historically, and it's easily the most soulful AMG that there is today. If you just want soul, and if you want that nostalgia from the W204 C63 to 205, I recommend you put your money in the new SL63.
Point blank straight. Do you agree with that, Alan? And also just go a bit into, the looks of the Roadster itself, and then we can also just go into, touching on what Shane has said. Do you also stand by those sentiments?
I totally agree. There's no question. I've got to agree with
100%.
Most of what you said. Yeah. There's one thing. You said right in the intro, a conventional powertrain.
Yes.
What's conventional about a twin-turbo V8? Sorry, I've got to disagree. That is just something else, okay?
Yeah.
It's a monster engine. But you know what? As much as it is an AMG, it's got the AMG performance. It's got everything. It's a cruiser.
Yeah.
It's a cruiser that can turn into a ballistic missile at the tiniest prod of the accelerator. And before anybody says anything, I don't care about the price.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I mean, do you even care about the price if you're getting into a Roadster like this?
Not a chance.
Money's not a factor.
Because also realistically, this isn't car number 1 or 2. This is 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah.
Production of Volvo's XC60 last year surpassed the 2.7 million mark, making it the best-selling Volvo ever. In a bid to freshen the appeal of its popular mid-size SUV, the Swedish company recently gave it a comprehensive cosmetic and tech upgrade. We attended the recent media launch to find out more.
XC60 was first launched in South Africa in 2017, and I think what we've seen over the years is a shift within the South African consumer, specifically in the Volvo space, really leaning towards XC60. In fact, year to date, XC60 for Volvo in South Africa is the #1 selling model in the country. We've also been very proud that XC60 was one of the vehicles that won World Car of the Year in 2018. And globally, we recently put out a press release that stated that there was over 1 million XC60 sold globally. If you look at the profile of an XC60, it really meets the needs of your urban family. It's got enough space, it's got the luxury and sophistication of the XC90, but everything packaged into the XC60.
I get that we're in a sort of market now where we've got all these very cool, very futuristic designs coming in. But I think your loyal customer base of a Volvo isn't looking for that. So to do just a bit of a freshen up here and there, make it a little bit modern here, a little bit, tweaked here is almost enough. I still love it. I don't think it needs to change.
I think what Volvo's done is we've kept that new sort of DNA in terms of the XC90, and we've brought it through to XC60. So what you find on the new refreshed XC60 is the front grille, which has now the new diagonal sort of shape. The other thing when you look at the exterior of the vehicle is the upgrade to the wheel options available. Gives it a bit more of a sportier stance. If you go to the rear of the vehicle, you've got the smoked rear lights, again following that same DNA from the refreshed XC90. And in terms of interior, what's very exciting is the new UX and the 11.2-inch screen, which is added to the XC60. You've got a much more intuitive sort of user experience where the connectivity is quite swift and quick in terms of the response times. I think there's a fair amount of changes that would really allow you to consider moving into a facelifted XC60.
So in terms of those changes, again, I think it's to stay relevant and to remain modern enough compared to all the competitors in the segment. I mean, the change of the phone charging port and all those sort of things, really trying to make it more convenient.
So some of the key features that consumers can play around with the new XC60, we've got 3 new exterior colors. We've got Aurora Silver, which kind of has a rose gold undertone. Then we've got a very fascinating color called Forest Lake, and then Mulberry Red, which comes from the XC90 stable. A very exciting thing is with our interiors. So we've now got more options and flexibility for customers to personalize their vehicles. We've got in the entry level, which is the core, we've got the charcoal textile weave interior. Then when you go to the Plus and Ultra derivatives, you've got the cardamom interior, which is also a stunning blend between a blonde and beige sort of configuration. And the most exciting is the navy interior, which has never been available on any of our Volvos previously.
I think XC60 lovers will still feel that this is premium in feel and look. And I mean, a Volvo interior, I mean, it's so soft to touch everywhere. Who doesn't love that?
When we look at the model lineup, we've changed the nomenclature on the entry level from a essential to a core, and that starts at 1.1 million in terms of the entry level price. And when you move on to the top of the range, which is the Ultra, I think that is where you see a lot of value in the vehicle, where you've got air suspension as standard, you've got panoramic roof as standard, as well as the 15-speaker Bowers & Wilkins sound system. And the top of the range on the Ultra comes in at 1.5.
Price-wise, I mean, if you look at what the second last one on the T8 plug-in hybrid, it's 1.4 or so, which I think it's a bit steep compared to other players in the market. I think the BMW is probably around 1.2, if memory serves correctly. So yeah, I guess it's got to do maybe with the product updates that they claim are modern enough. So Let's wait and see. It's going to be quite an interesting one, whether the numbers, I mean, they say they've done 298 year to date before the facelift model. Let's see if those numbers will go up or whether they'll just stay stagnant. It's going to be interesting to watch.
One of the things I've always asked being in this industry, one of my favorite cars, if I could buy any car, what would it be? And it's always the Volvo XC60, which disappoints so many people because it's not something like this Lamborghini Urus, or however you want to say it. You know, it's always going to be something, people want something more. The Volvo XC60 for me is sort of the perfect car. I don't think they need to do a lot to it.
Don't go away, because after the break, we hit the open road in VW's all-new Transporter.
If you are traveling long distances, fuel efficiency is top of mind, and this has been averaging between 7 to 8 liters per 100 kilometer, which I feel is really good.
It's a cold and gloomy weather for an otherwise exciting kind of trip with VW as we launch the new Transporter. We are going to be traveling around Mpumalanga. I'm with a few of our motoring journalist friends, as one would be with their friends and families, as we have a ball in the new Transporter. Mpumalanga has to be one of the most beautiful places in South Africa, perfect for a travel destination, and obviously perfect for a car like this, because this is where you're going to experience the roads with your family and with your friends, driving on the open road and just enjoying the scenery. And a car like this is literally what you need. 8-seater. We've got a 2-liter TDI, and this is good for 125 kilowatts, and it is quite enough to tackle the roads that we are dealing with right here. We're currently going to Hoedspruit, which is known for a lot of activities. After 350 odd kilometers driving from Sandton to here in Hoedspruit, we finally made it, the Radisson Hotel. It's been an amazing drive with amazing company, but tomorrow it continues again. I will tell you more about the car. For now, I do think it's time to retire because, it's been such a long day. But yeah, catch you tomorrow. The weather is looking better than it was yesterday. I wanted to tell you a little bit more about this new generation Transporter. It looks very simplistic, especially up front. A lot of this grille detail has been minimized. It's so subdued and so subtle. I do quite like this 3-step light design that they have. They curve towards the side of the car, and just looking at the profile of the car, the design is really very VW DNA. In the rear, the tail lights are quite striking too. I do like this design as well. And you do have the Transporter badge as well as the VW badging over there. They do also have a rear camera that's been added onto there. And as you open the boot, you do have more loading space and capacity in the rear. So that has been extended. You also do have a much larger towing capacity than you did have in the previous generation. The interior space is very much simplistic, very clean. You also do have so much space, and that's just how uncluttered the car is, especially in the front. It comes with a 12-inch digital screen, graphics very crisp and also easy to navigate. And let's move over to the back, because that's where I found most of the fun happens with your family and friends. Right behind the passenger and driver's seat, you have some storage space over there. You also do have your USB charging ports, 2 of those for the rear passengers, yourself and your passengers that will be sitting next to you. The middle seat does pull down, so you do have that extra space just to lean on or just to play cards as we were doing yesterday. We've been driving for quite a bit yesterday, and it was a really comfortable and fun drive, and that just encapsulates what the Transporter is and what it feels like.
You do have engine options of 81 kilowatts, 110, as well as the 125 that we are currently in. If you are traveling long distances, fuel efficiency is top of mind, and this has been averaging between 7 to 8 liters per 100 kilometer, which I feel is really good. They do come in different variants, and this starts at 770,000 Rand up to 1.16 million Rand. And I do think it is decently priced and it is quite competitive. Whatever range you do get, it's equipped with a lot of standard features, so you will not be missing out on much. This is very nostalgic of the trips we take when we had a little bit of money saved up as friends and we would book a Kumbi. We would just drive out to all these beautiful vacation spots and we just have so much fun in the car.
And that brings us to the end of another show. Men in Black, thank you so much for pulling through.
Thank you. Always great being here.
See you guys again very soon. Be sure to join us again next week when Ernest drives the updated Audi S3 on road and track. We travel to China for a sneak peek at what's to come out of their Motor and Jaku stables. And Juliet gets reacquainted with the practical yet stylish Isuzu MU-X.